Good morning, Pankaj.
Morning. Can we start?
Yeah.
We can start with 176th question. Now, this question is about, it's more to do with predictive life cycle. A project has following characteristics. A project has following characteristics. A quality management plan is in place. The quality management plan states that project deliverables must be reviewed at a minimum 1.5 weeks before the deadline. 4 deliverables have missed the quality requirement. What steps should the project manager take?
Cause and effect diagram.
RCA, option D.
So are we all agreeing to delta?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So it's delta, yes. Next question. A project is in the execution stage. Based on the originally approved blueprint, 1,000 products were developed. The project team randomly chooses 100 products to evaluate against the quality plan. What is the project team undertaking?
Sampling exercise, option B.
Statistical sampling.
So B, Bravo. The project is overseen by senior project manager. A new project manager joins the project and sponsor asks the new project manager to develop a quality management plan. How should the new project manager proceed?
Option A.
So do we all agree with option A?
Yeah, Pankaj, option A.
Yes, Pankaj.
Option A is the best one, right? Perfect. So let's go to 179th one. Company B is setting up a new agile innovation team with a mission of placing product quality above all other consideration. The initiative comes after a number of high-profile complaints on social media networks about the brand's diminished quality. Which option should be the most effective to achieve the team's goals?
Option D.
It should be option D, yes. It should be option D, delta. Are you all okay with option D, delta?
Yes.
Can you explain that, Pankaj, a little bit?
See, the question is, company B is setting up a new agile innovation team with mission of placing, see, the most prominent goal is quality, right? It is beyond time, it is beyond, other objectives such as cost. The initiative comes after a number of high-profile complaints on a social media network about brand diminished quality. Which option would be the effective to achieve the team's goal? Now, see, there are multiple ways to do it. See, for me, the highest priority goal is right now priority, right, Preeti? The question is, the highest priority is quality. Now, quality can be achieved various means, by increasing testing, by increasing prevention, right, mentoring, coaching, by increasing audits. There are multiple ways, right? So let's go through all the options, then decide which is the best one, right? Raise the product price to fund use of better quality material. This is only one aspect. See, even if raw material is good, can there be issues related to integration of the raw material or not? Will alpha guarantee me a good quality? What do you think, Preeti? Alpha is just one component. See, despite the fact I'm using best raw material, but still assembling can be an issue, right? Ultimately, you have to convert raw material into a finished product, right? Problems can be there, right? So it will not guarantee. right? So I'm removing it. Benchmark feature against competitors' product and track the defect. See, benchmarking means, you are setting up your quality standard based on some reference points like competitor. But see, they may exist now also. Do you think?
Yeah.
Right? We will create some kind of transparency and some kind of communication, but it's not something which can guarantee. Create an automated testing bench to eliminate human errors, right? But again, everything can't be done, can't be automated. Few things can be automated, it will help 100%, right? So C can be considered. If you see D, use test-driven development based on continuous user focus group input, right? See, focus group is, any kind of expert in particular area, right, who can provide input. So based on you can, in this context, you can consider what is user expecting from the product. Now see, test-driven approach is an approach where the development happens based on test scenarios. See, let me explain you the whole process. Based on the user input, you are going to create testing scenarios, right? Because user will expect this thing to happen, right? So you will create a test scenarios. Then test scenarios are further converted into, right, integration test cases and unit test cases. So at every level, the requirements are driven by test cases, right? We have to pass this test case. Are you getting my point or not?
Yeah.
For example,
Makes sense.
a scenario, suppose the product is mobile phone. A scenario can be a user is giving an input. I need a minimum battery backup of 48 hours. Now, can it be tested constantly? So can this test scenario drive the requirement or not?
Yes.
Right. So again, so requirements are driven by test cases, right? The goal, see, and you will say requirements are fulfilled only when they pass the test cases, right? So
Yeah.
And C by default is included to some extent in D, right? When you use test-driven development, right, at a lower level, you try to automate as much as possible. So that's why delta is the best answer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, we are going to 180th question. During sprint planning, some new backlog items are prioritized, but not estimated. The product owner requires a new set of tests to verify the unique properties of the items. What should happen before adding it to the sprint backlog?
Is it analogous estimating here?
See, we are talking about agile. During
Option C.
sprint plan, see,
Yeah.
what should the answer?
Charlie?
So, should it be Charlie or not?
Before estimation, yeah, that can be as well. Yeah.
Before, see the question, the answer lies, read the question. This is the question.
Mm-hmm.
See, we have learned one thing in agile. Before something is added, right? Before an item is added to the sprint backlog, we have to ensure that it is as per definition of ready.
Correct.
Right? So can I say C is a criteria for this?
Yeah.
Is it fine?
Yep.
First question. A smartphone manufacturer is reassessing its product development methods in response to a sharp increase in user complaints. Analysis of the complaints indicates that the user tried to use some features in ways that designer did not anticipate. Give these findings which agile practice would most effectively prevent the problem.
Option A.
Okay.
Option 3, C.
Now, what is the issue?
That there are features that are not being tested because the testers are not aware of what the users are going to be using.
So, if I see, this is the line that we have to understand here.
What is this red, green, and refactor? It is something like yes, no, and ask.
This is again, if I say red, green, and refactoring, it is same as in a way A, right?
Okay.
You remember test-driven development. First, the
Yes.
test case passes, fails, then passes, and then you clean the code.
Correct.
Right? Red, green, and refactor. This is the approach. But again, the question is, a smartphone manufacturer is reassessing its product development methods in response to sharp increase in user complaints. Analysis of the complaint indicates that user tried to use some features in a way that designer did not anticipate. So, is it the issue related to usability?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? It's something related to usability, right? Now, when you talk about usability, right, it's more to do with UX and CX, customer experience, right? Now, see, again, sometimes navigation issue is there, right? Sometimes more number of clicks can be there, and sometimes some other problems can be there related to usability, right? Yes or no? You might have also seen certain websites where you have trouble, or some functionalities where you have trouble, using some of the functionalities. Does it happen or not?
Yeah.
Actually, if you have experience of dealing with government websites where you file your TDS returns, right, and other returns, they are pretty complex in nature. And one of the reasons is, usability is not taken into consideration while developing those websites. So, Preeti answered correct. It should be behavior-driven development. Now, see, what is behavior-driven development? Again, generally, if you see books, in many places, they have clearly said they treat behavior-driven development and acceptance test-driven development in a similar manner, right? With a focus of behavior-driven development more on usability. Now, let's see the answer of PMI also, how they have distinguished between the two. Behavior-driven development is an extension of test-driven development, right? Just as some people have entered in, it makes sense. Behavior-driven development is an extension of test-driven development, whereby automated test and simulation are created before developing the product. Flaws are discovered by forcing the test to fail before producing the unit in a way that will pass the test, right? So again, they have not clarified many things about behavior-driven development. Behavior-driven development is definitely extension of test-driven development, but rather than this, I would say with more focus on usability of the product, right? With more focus on the customer or user experience. Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that fine, guys?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right. So the correct answer is C, behavior-driven development. Right?
What is smoke testing here?
Smoke testing is a testing which is done for a finished product, right? For example, see when the finished product is about to be dispatched to the customer, right? You can't run all the test cases. So what you do is, just as an assurance, you out of, suppose you have to verify a product against 20 test cases, you might run 3 or 4 main ones. So that
On
is
on the finished product only.
on the finished product, right? Which is actually that finished product has gone through all the level of testings. But again, before dispatching it to the customer, before handing it over to the customer, you might be doing some final review. But you can't do it on all the test cases. You do just a basic test. That okay, the main functionalities are working well or not.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
It's something like critical, critical test only, right?
Yeah. A startup company needs to quickly expand its product portfolio to meet the market demand. Recently, staff members are working on 2 or 3 agile teams, each dedicated to a different product. Output is dropping and defect rates are rising in all teams. In which 2 ways can the project manager help the agile teams improve their work? Now, 3 answers are there.
2, right? The first is, of course,
No, sorry, there's a mistake here. Actually, they have written 2, but answers are 3. So I'm changing it here. There are 3 answers that they have marked. So it should be 3. This is a PMI mistake. 3. So 3 options are correct here.
Of course, one should be the root cause.
Okay. Okay.
The second should be context switching.
Okay.
And
Okay. Both are absolutely correct. Right. So see the now see Mohit has answered first 2. Context switching is it's proven that it will reduce the productivity. If you don't
What is context switching, Pankaj?
I'll tell you what, some again. First of all, are we all agreeing with alpha?
Yes.
Yes.
And we know that the question is about productivity is decreasing, right? Context switching is something like multitasking, right? You are switching between the tasks. And it has been seen that when you switch between the tasks, instead of, some people might believe that it is increasing their productivity, right? It actually reduces the productivity. That's why, in Agile, we say also, and it is that, you need to sequence the tasks for attaining maximum value, right? Do one by one. That's why we have been talking about, focus on highest priority. See, if you feel that you are doing multiple tasks and you are switching between multiple tasks, it will not deliver value. A context switching can lead to multiple issues. So your 2 options are correct, Mohit. Both options will lead to reduction in productivity, right?
yes.
What should be the next one? One more option is left.
Delta.
Yeah.
Right, delta is. Right. Appoint dedicated test teams to offload the agile teams, right? Because output is dropping and defect rates are rising in all teams, and they're saying choose 3, right?
So then why not E?
E is train. So training will not help in the middle of the sprint. Train the agile team to improve time and focus management. This will not help because this will take a lot of time.
Pankaj, is this not something that will be done by the Scrum Master and not the project manager? Option E.
Option E
is not.
Yeah. So again, see, this is a very good question, Ankuj. Now, see, this is a difference in PMI Agile and rest of the Agile. In PMI, in PMP exam, when you see Agile questions, as I told you before, also, in PMP, we have learned Scrum, we have learned Lean, we have learned Kanban, test-driven, all the agile approaches. But PMI will not endorse any of them. They will say you can pick and choose the way you want, right? Based on your context, right? PMI says choose your own way of working. So unlike a typical Scrum exam, where Scrum Master means Scrum Master, right? In PMP exam, in fact in any PMI exam, you will see terms like this. They might address agile project. They will use the term like agile project manager, agile practitioner, agile project lead. In the context of Scrum, also sometimes they use Scrum. Instead of using a word Scrum Master, they use the word project manager. So if actually in the context of agile, they're using the word project manager, actually the meaning is agile coach.
Okay.
Right? Because see, again, it depends from framework to framework. For example, in Prince to Agile, right? When you say project manager and when you say Scrum Master, there are two different things because they have a hierarchy, right? Project manager will lead overall project and the work packages are taken care of by Scrum Masters. So Scrum Master is more like a team lead level role. But here in PMP, they will use for them, any coach, any facilitator can be a project manager also.
Okay.
So here there is no clear distinction between Scrum Master and Project Manager.
Yeah. They will use them interchangeably, right? Now, 183rd, the agile team surpassed the planned number of stories in the last 3 agile iterations, right? How can the project manager be sure all the work performed is truly complete?
Go with definition of
Option
done.
B.
B, right? B, bravo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if the work is passing the definition of done, it is done, right? Now the next one.
Pankaj, the only thing like why not delta? Like of course the B is the answer, but
This is
we
a
are
good
asking about all the tests.
See,
Right.
but again, despite the fact tests are being performed, but they are not validated against definition of done, right? They're failed. So tell me, if I use check the results of all the tests performed, that means, see, definition of done should include this. Definition of done, remember it was a checkpoint. It should include this also as one parameter, whether unit testing is complete, integration testing is complete, acceptance testing is done. Well,
Correct.
should this be the part? So by
Correct.
default, this is one element of definition of done.
Yes.
But it is a definition of done talks about a lot of other items also, like peer review, right? Documentation, right?
So yeah, finally
But
goes to definition of done.
Yeah, it's a very elaborate thing, which also
Yes.
which covers D, right? D is just a bit, right? A component of definition.
Correct.
Now, a medium-sized company is expanding into a new market. However, the company does not have previous experience in that market. A project manager needs to collect requirements. Which two tools or techniques should the project manager use? Sorry.
Pankaj, have you
Expert.
studied
A and
Pankaj,
C.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, Samir, you were saying something.
Yeah. Have you studied anything on this topic? Like this is a unique kind of approach method that they are talking.
This
How to work on
184th one.
Yes.
Right. A medium-sized company is expanding into market. However, the company does not have previous experience in that market. A project manager needs to collect requirement. Which two tools or techniques should now see? yes, there are some people which is a early morning batch. They have not done this. These are required. Remember, we have a dedicated session on requirement elicitation technique when we discussed about focus groups, document reviews, affinity method to collect requirement, multi-criteria decision analysis, prune the product tree. We had a session where we dedicatedly talked only about requirement collection, requirement elicitation methods.
Okay.
Right. So there we discussed about prototypes also. We discussed about various types of prototypes as well, right? Now, but again, I'll be doing it in a 5 a.m. batch coming weekend, so you can join if you want to, right?
Okay.
Remember, we discussed about traceability matrix also. So
I'm not able to recall actually.
Yeah, so no, you can join the morning batch also. So,
Okay, thank you.
a medium-sized company is expanding into a new market. However, the company does not have previous experience in it. A project manager needs to collect requirement. Now we have to talk about requirement elicitation techniques, right? Now here, they have no previous experience, right, in that market. Now, when they have no previous experience, product analysis won't work, right? Product analysis is once you have entire idea about the product, then you can decompose product into subproducts and components, right? Traceability matrix is not used to collect requirement. It is just to map every requirement to the source of origination, which is like how requirement is related to business goals or business needs or objective, and how the requirement will be tested and validated. So C and D are not related to requirement collection or generation at all, right? This can be done once the requirements are there, when they're broken. So, product analysis will only be done when product is there, right? We don't have a product, right? We don't have a requirement, so we can't do traceability. For generating requirements, guys, can I use prototypes?
Yes, that's the basic.
Yes.
That's a basic way, right?
Yeah.
For generating the requirement, can I collaborate with set of subject matter experts? Right?
Yes.
People who have worked in similar kind of product before, right? So they can give me input. So the correct answer should be Alpha and Bravo here, right? Now, 185th. A client brings a project manager into a project during project execution stage. The project manager reviews the project scope for cost estimating purposes and notice that some deliverables were missed in the work breakdown structure. What steps should the project manager take? See, if some components are missing in WBS, will it be a wrong estimate or not? Because generally after creation of WBS, we go for a bottom-up estimation, as we discussed recently, right? If components are missing, what is the best choice that you can have?
Option C.
Yeah, it should see option C, right? Because
Yeah.
the scope of the work is defined as per WBS, right? So it should be option C, Charlie, right? So are we all agreeing with option C, Charlie?
Yes.
Pankaj, what is the 100% rule?
Yeah. See, in project, we say that, we should meet or exceed the expectations of the stakeholders or customer within the boundary, right? That boundary is your work breakdown structure. So, as a rule, whatever is there in the WBS is in the scope of the project, right? Whatever is outside the work breakdown structure is not there in the scope of the project. This is 100%. Is that okay?
Pankaj, the first sentence of the question is not clear. A client brings a project manager into a project. Means what?
So we can assume two situations here.
No, the literal meaning of sentence I am not able to comprehend.
Yeah. So what it can mean is,
I mean, a project manager
no,
into a project is.
No, so what what I assume from this is, there was some project manager who was not, who may not be performing well. He has been replaced by a new project manager, right? This is what I assumed here.
Okay.
Now, in the worst case scenario, it can be there also. You would have started a project, right? And there is no project manager, but this is rare. It can't happen, right? But my assumption was that, okay, some other project manager has been replaced by this new project manager, right? During the
Yes.
execution stage. This is my assumption. Yeah. So Aditi, did you get the meaning of 100% rule? I just saw your chat. I hope you're okay with 100% rule. No, okay. I'm repeating 100% rule. So Aditi, you have seen a work breakdown structure, right? Now, whatever is there in the work breakdown structure, right? Whatever is there in the work breakdown structure should be in the scope of the project, right? So work breakdown structure should cover the 100% scope of the project. This is 100% rule. Whatever is outside the WBS is outside the boundary of the scope of the project. This is 100% rule. Is that okay? Just text yes, right? I know you are not able to talk. If you have understood, just text yes. Perfect. So, Samirji, is this clear? Is the question clear now?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Now, we have to review some of the project characteristics then answer the questions, right? It's a question on predictive. Review the project characteristic. Sponsor has approved the project. The project manager invites selected team members, key stakeholders, and sponsors to a meeting. The primary purpose of the meeting is to create a document that will guide the team in defining the main project deliverables. What will be the final output of this meeting?
Is it milestone list?
No, very, answer very carefully.
I think option D is the answer.
Option B.
Scope management.
Yes, you are close. You are close, but should it be a requirement management plan or a scope management plan?
Scope.
Scope, right? Because see, when you say deliverable, see, requirements are always related to features. But when you say how to plan, how to elaborate the deliverable, how to plan the deliverable, how to validate the deliverable, how to make changes to the deliverable, this will be scope management plan. Right? They have clearly said the primary purpose of meeting is to create a document that will guide the team in defining the main project deliverable, right? If you see the third point.
Is it not main means milestone, because we are talking about main project deliverables? That it's not like something the overall.
Yeah, no, but creation, defining, it's not talking about the dates. See, milestones, Mohit, are decision points. And they are
Correct.
always characterized by dates. They're not talking about dates that will guide the team in defining, in elaborating, in describing the deliverables.
Because why I gave that answer is talking about main project deliverables.
Yeah, that's
Nothing
okay.
like scope
No,
or
see, I'll tell you, if it is about to, if the meeting is about to create the completion date for main project deliverables, then your answer would have been right, milestone list. But are they talking about the dates or they're talking about elaboration of the deliverables? Are they not talking about how to describe, guide team on how to describe the major project deliverables? They're talking about defining, right, Mohit?
yeah.
Defining means elaboration.
Mhm.
Right?
Define.
So the correct answer should be scope management plan, right?
Okay.
If you face a question like this, they want to create a plan that consists of major project deliverables and their completion date. then your answer will be milestone list.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So the answer to the last question, Pankaj, was scope management plan, right?
Yes, scope management plan.
Okay.
See, the moment they say how the see again, requirement management plan comes in the picture when they say how the features should be developed, how they should be
Right.
reviewed, right? How the changes should be made. Right? 187. A project manager is working with a customer who repeatedly submits requests for new requirements for an existing software product. The project manager has already provided the completed scope definition for the product's next version released to the stakeholder. Which step is appropriate for project manager to take? Now, in a traditional scenario,
Boundaries.
should project manager see the scope management plan on how this has to be approved, how scope changes needs to be managed?
Yes. Option B.
See, because I'll tell you what. See, if customer is requesting changes, then but still there may be some meaning for it, right? Ultimate goal is to see the business value, but the process to make changes should be defined in how the scope has to be changed. It should be defined in the scope management plan, right? So how to handle them, whether you're going to handle them in current release or future release or but whichever way, you should have an agreement with the customer because customer would have also signed off the scope management plan, right? So the correct answer should be D delta.
Yeah, that's true. But if like the person is giving a continuous request, it's a repeatedly, right?
Yeah.
So there should be boundaries as well. Like, of course.
Absolutely. But again, first look at D and then move for B. At least look at what is your approach, right? What is the process for it?
Correct.
No, Pankaj, but this part is not answered now. When he brings repeatedly, there should be some check.
Just a second, I missed the question. Yeah. So that check, what should be that check? That check should have been defined in the scope management plan agreed initially with the this check should have been defined here.
Okay.
Now let's do one thing. Can we quickly, because since there are multiple questions which are coming on scope management plan, can we quickly see what are the contents of scope management plan?
Yes,
Can
sure.
we see?
Yes.
Let's see the contents. Guys, look at the contents of the scope management plan. The first element is process for preparing a detailed project scope statement, right? Second, the process that enables the creation of work breakdown structure from a detailed project scope statement, right? How WBS has to be created, right? Process to establish how WBS will be maintained and approved, right? So, in this, when I say maintain means how changes can be done to WBS and how they can be approved. This clearly defined, right? The process that specifies how formal acceptance of the completed project deliverables will be obtained, right? And process to control how requests for changes to the detailed project scope statement will be processed, right? The last one. So tell me, before doing anything, should he look at the last element of the scope management plan or not? Should he look at this process in details or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So
The
this
last
should be the
point.
answer.
Yeah, last point is the answer.
Yeah. And can I say this scope management plan is a kind of a rules of the game for scope? any process to be followed related to scope is defined in this plan, right? Though it doesn't contain scope at all, right? It is a process for managing the scope, right? Scope is contained in scope statement. But the format, for example, if I ask you in which document do you define the format of the scope statement? Can I say this document? Process for preparing a detailed project scope statement. So it should talk about the format, right, of the scope or the template that you're going to use to create scope statement, right? Till what level you are going to decompose WBS. So, everything, right, related to scope management is defined. All the processes related to scope management is defined in scope management plan. So I'm going back to the Excel sheet. Now, I'm going to the next question now. Next question is again from HI. Right? This was from predictive. An empowered agile team shows impressive progress in the first 4 iterations, but now the product owner has noticed low output in the latest 5 iterations without any apparent reason. What should be the cause of this situation? Now, go through all the options carefully. Say, I think you need to read all the options, then answer.
Option B, Bravo.
Now, see, again, this can, anybody can answer this. See, this, I see.
Alpha.
It looks like, see, in a first go, it looks like B. See, if it is a technical debt, right? Tell me if there is a technical debt, how can they say that an empowered agile team showed impressive progress in the first 4 iterations? See, technical
Would
debt.
it be C?
Now, okay, let's see.
Storming.
So B, can I rule out B, Ankush?
Yeah.
Because they
Yes,
have clearly said it was an impressive progress. So technical debt can't be there, right?
So
What
technical
is
debt,
technical debt, Pankaj?
Yeah,
What's the
exactly.
technical debt?
Yes, I'll explain. This is very important. See, technical debt is a consequence of making poor technical choices, right? For example, if there is a poor design, right? If there is a poor, any poor technical choice that you have made, now you have to face the consequences of it, right? Later you fix it, the consequences are more, right? Earlier you fix, better it is, right? So, the consequence of technical debt is, the total cost of ownership increases, right? The velocity, the pace of the development decreases as a result of technical debt, and the maintenance cost and support and upkeeping cost of the product increases as a result of this. Is it clear?
Yeah. Thank you.
मतलब right technology choose नहीं करने का नतीजा है वो.
हाँ, बिल्कुल राइट डिजाइन नहीं चूज किया, सब कुछ किया, तो आपको बहुत मुश्किल होगी, और जितनी जल्दी फिक्स करोगे उतना बेटर है.
I think it should be option D, a low performer
तो
resource.
पहले ऑप्शन सी देख ले. संतोष said option C, right? Santosh, can we see option C? Santosh,
Yeah,
you are the one who
Pankaj.
said, right? The team was in storming stage of the development, and now see, tell me, can team product, see, if the team, see this, what are the team building stages? Forming, storming, norming, and performing, right? Tell me, as I move from storming to norming, should my productivity increase or decrease?
It should increase.
It should increase. But here reverse
But
is
that
happening,
the
right?
in
As I-
normal they can be more casual.
No, 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 no. You
I think
can't
option A.
see norming. The teams are very serious, right? And they understand. They're more mature. They understand the overall goal is to make the project work, right? Succeed. So if actually see again, a lot of teams only struggle at storming throughout till the end. So if the team has really moved from storming to norming, the productivity should go higher. The output should go
Okay.
should become better and better. So that's what C is wrong.
Okay.
Now, delta. There is most likely a specific underperforming team member. See, this can't happen. Right? Can you blame a single team member for this?
No.
See,
Probably
because
not.
then you see they have clearly said the answer lies here. See, if you look at this, this is what they have said. An empowered agile team showed impressive progress in the first 4 iterations, right? So what was he doing during the first 4 iterations, right?
Yeah.
So don't you think A should be the answer? Based on this scenario, A is a better choice. The team worked on low complexity stories from the backlog in the first 4 iterations. Now the stories are more complex, so you can't complete the same number of stories anymore. See, A is the better of all in this situation. Is that okay?
Yes, Pankaj.
See, they are not saying that they are only showing low output. That is, instead of 5 stories, they are now completing 3 stories or 2 stories. They have not said anything about the quality of work. Right? And tell me, if the task is complex, do we complete less amount of cover less amount of requirements or not? So the best answer is A alpha. Yes or no?
Yeah, that's true.
So in this kind of question, you have to go through all the options before you answer, right? You have to reject, you have to eliminate all the options, right? Now, 190th. An agile team is struggling to solve blocking issues with packaging design. Eventually, they find a solution, but it requires a different product format. What should the team do before further developing the solution?
Option B, Bravo.
So do we all agree with Bravo?
Yes, Pankaj.
So the answer should be ask the product owner to approve the change, right? Because it's an agile team, right?
So changes, Pankaj, changing a product to suit the packaging is not it a something for a smaller thing you are going to make change in bigger thing?
Oh, see, when you say product development, right? In a product development environment, packaging is a big thing, right? If you tell me, many times you get attracted to the product based on packaging or not?
Yes, it is true, but changing the product itself is not it a very bigger task to do.
See, but what kind of packaging design is a very, very critical decision to be taken. Because
Okay.
ultimately, packaging can lead to sales. Don't you
So I
think
don't
product
know.
packaging, many times a product is purchased by many people based on packaging?
It is true. So I don't have any idea, but is it the practice that packaging is so important that even for the sake of packaging, you will be changing the product itself?
Because it will be part of the product backlog, right? You look,
Yeah.
see, if for example, you are building a smartphone, right? A new product, which is smartphone. So tell me, is the packaging of smartphone equally important or not? And packaging should be the part of the product backlog.
But even the packaging of iPhone is not that impressive. This is what I find. Even the go for Samsung high-end phones.
See,
The packaging is not that.
no, but if you talk about iPhone packaging, iPhone packaging has some unique things, right? Some ease also. There is a article on internet regarding packaging of iPhone, why Steve Jobs wanted it that way. There's a huge article on that, and there are certain bottlenecks he wanted to eradicate, right? See, people have trouble taking out a mobile phone from the packaging. So he has done something, but it was whatever is the choice, it is simple, but a lot of attention has been given to packaging of iPhone. There's a huge article about packaging of iPhone on internet.
Okay, it means
So
the product has to be seen along with the packaging requirement.
Yes. See, again, Steve Jobs were more focused around ease of usability rather than, making it more colorful. So if you read the article on that, you will find everything. Why he wanted packaging to be done in that particular way.
Okay.
See, again, packaging, branding, they're very, very important. And, they consume a lot of money also. I don't know, I have not tried, but I just came to know that, there are many manufacturers, many people who have started, selling, many factories who are supplying to all the brands like, Panasonic or Napoleon or Hitachi. They have started selling their product directly from the factory. Right? All the OEMs of these products, for example, if you want to buy a Hitachi television or let's say Hitachi air conditioner directly from the factory of the supplier, it is I think 60% of the total cost at which Hitachi sells. Same product, same brand. Because the marketing cost is very high. I don't know much about this. I just came to know a month ago that this is happening. All the products, LEDs or air conditioner, they're sold directly by the suppliers as well.
Suppliers to whom? Directly to customers?
देखो क्या होता है कि ये जैसे Panasonic है या कोई भी कंपनी है except for Samsung. Why? Because Samsung has a huge factory in India. Huge. तो ये फैक्ट्रीज जो है बहुत सारे प्रोडक्ट्स की हिताची वगैरह की यहाँ पे नहीं है या कैपेसिटी कम है. So they rely to fulfill the capacity. They rely on some suppliers. तो सप्लायर इनके प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं इनका ही किट लेके, राइट? तो अभी हो क्या रहा है कि सप्लायर डायरेक्टली भी मार्केट में सेल करने लगे.
Okay, the product is same, only the brand is not there.
Only the brand is not there.
Okay.
Because branding cost is huge. So to suppliers से अगर आप directly लोगे same LED, it will be 40% cheaper, minimum 40%.
Okay.
But again, it brings some risks also, like warranty and all, right? Because when you buy it from a brand, the customer, you get a kind of a support also. Now, a merger of two companies result in combining an agile software project and a predictive electronic project into a single hybrid project. 2 months later, the requirements have changed in both the tracks, but neither has a full picture on status or importance of the requirement. How can the project manager best resolve the problem?
I think option B is the right answer.
So are we agreeing to option B, guys?
Yep.
Right. Now, see, some of the people may not be able to answer this because they have not seen requirement traceability, specifically the people who are coming from morning wear. So, I'll be covering this requirement traceability, right, in the 5 AM batch, right?
Sure.
Pankaj, I request whenever you cover it, please let me know also.
Yeah, see, again, Monday, 5 AM, I'm starting with risk management, right?
Yes.
So probably on Thursday, I'll be covering requirement elicitation technique. So, right, I'll give you invite, no worries. The link will remain the same. The only thing is I have to let you know.
Okay, Pankaj, thank you.
Now, a marketing team is developing a new website for an existing product range. The team reads through some customer comments submitting on the current website. Too much clicking, more and better, please make it easier. Which tool or technique should the marketing team use to identify the target audience style preference? Which one?
Option C, product analysis.
No, this is something related to, see,
Focus
product
group.
analysis. Say that again.
Focus group, because we're talking about
Focus group.
specific requirement of customers.
See, again, this is focus group is something we'll discuss in requirement elicitation, but focus group covers specific requirement of a particular user.
Mhm.
Right? For example, every product caters to a specific customers, right? So when we are taking the feedback of those customers or viewpoint of those customers directly, right? Again, this is this is called as focus group, but again, the way it is conducted is very similar to facilitated workshops, right? What happens? We will call set of pre-qualified stakeholders. Now, pre-qualified stakeholders are those stakeholders who are related to that particular product, right? And it will vary, right, based on the nature of the product. Now, these pre-qualified stakeholders, Anil, right, their discussion will be facilitated by a moderator, right?
Okay.
Now, the outcome of this focus group will be the viewpoint, right? It will lead to the generation of multiple items, action items or viewpoints, right? That, okay, this is the preference, right? Now, how this focus group differs from a typical facilitated workshop is when we do workshops, the primary purpose is to arrive at consensus, right? Here, you are not planning to arrive at an agreement or a consensus. Here, you want to see the viewpoint of different customers, different stakeholders, different end users, right?
Okay.
Right. Obviously, they may come out with 15, 20 different viewpoints, right? Their style preferences. You might not be able to include all the 15, but can you prioritize and include at least 80% or 60% of those?
Yeah.
Right. So then this usability issue will not happen.
Okay.
Right. So the correct answer is focus groups, right? Because brainstorming internally won't help, right? You have to specifically talk to users. Product analysis is multiple things. Once you have requirements in place, right? Then you decompose the product and analyze it further, right? Benchmarking will
that not
help
comparison, right?
It is also mentioned it's like some customer comments. So it's
some customer comments. Yeah. The team reads through some customer comments, and these are the comments, right? So, see, style preference, focus groups.
Okay.
Now, a project has the following characteristics. To determine what product should be created, a feasibility study was conducted. A change request was approved to develop another product that contradicts the original requirements. Data analysis was conducted before the change request was approved. Which action should the project manager take?
Alpha.
So see, since the change request has been already approved, right, to develop another product that contradicts the original requirement. So should it be alpha, execute the change request,
Yes, just execute. Yeah.
right? So it should be alpha, right? So let's go through the next one. User test for a prototype release are ready. The test users describe the kind of smoother experience they want, the many missing features they desire, and the way the product could be more visually appealing. What conclusion can be drawn from the user's input?
Bravo.
No, okay. So see, look at the question. Are based on the
Alpha.
answer.
Okay.
No, tell me most of. See, if you look at the answers, sorry, if you look at the question, does it show whether what is the conclusion? Does the test fail or pass?
The test pass, I think, but that is not what the users want.
They want something additional also, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what
So
should
it
be the
should be
answer?
option C.
Yes, it should be option C. It should be option C. The test was success. The input will ensure a more targeted backlog because whatever feedbacks have been given by the users, they should go inside the backlog.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, they are not talking about functionalities were wrong.
Correct.
They were saying missing. See, if the features are missing, they you don't have a test case for certain, right? So issues was missing features and how it can be more product can be made more attractive. So the correct answer should be C, right? The test for success, the input will ensure a more targeted backlog, right? So should we see Charlie or not?
Yes, Pankaj.
Yes, Pankaj.
195. During estimating, the team is discussing an item in the backlog. It becomes clear that the item can be done in different ways, but the best way is not obvious. What should the team do to progress on this item? So remember we discussed about something called a spike.
What is spike, Pankaj?
Yes, spike is a proof of concept with which whether a particular technology will work in a particular situation or not. Right? So when you have to take a decision that okay, let's go with technology A or B or C, you first try those technologies in very small, small deliverable. If it works there, you go ahead with the technology. If it doesn't work, you don't go ahead, right? So this is spike or risk-based spike. Now, whatever I have explained to you now is a spike in the context, in the technical context. Spike can be used in non-technical context also, right? Spike can be used in a non-technical context also. Now, how it can be used in non-technical context? Right? For example, if there is a team member who is supposed to join your team, and you came to know that the guy is very difficult to manage, he is not a team player, so you can give him a small amount of work with the other team player. If he works well, then you will include him in the team. If he doesn't work well, you won't. Right? So spike is like a proof of concept validation. So can I say the answer is C, Charlie?
Yeah.
Right? You have to run a small experimentation,
Yes.
right? So this should be C, Charlie. The agile team is building a version of a smartphone shopping application suitable for older people. Marketing has not been able to find any volunteer test user fitting the profile. Which option would be most effective to ensure the best product value is delivered?
Alpha.
Alpha.
Alpha is. So, it is again a kind of a reference to focus groups.
Yes,
No,
older people.
So what is the best possible answer for this? Examine, see, if I say examine evaluation of similar competitors' product, it is not needed actually here. See, we are talking about,
D.
yeah, because we are talking about, a smartphone suitable for older people.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Shouldn't it be Delta? Ask the product owner to run friendly tests with older relatives. That is more appropriate.
Yeah.
Right? So should it be Delta or not?
Yes, Pankaj.
Why not A? Like just because competitor is producing same product for older people, so why not A? Of course, B should be there, but why not A?
We can do D
Maybe
also.
some of the features which you are putting in your product are not similar to those.
You might be, see, Alpha definitely is good to benchmark, but you want to do something better than them. You might be thinking about some unique USP for older people, right? Because you are launching a new product.
Correct.
Alpha can be a reference point, but actually the hands-on approach will be Delta. See, you might be coming. See, again, you are launching a new smartphone, so you might have you definitely in a product you want some unique features also,
Correct.
right?
Mhm.
So Delta.
I think Alpha would be a good choice if you're reverse engineering something.
Yeah, Alpha is a good choice if you're reverse engineering. Plus, you can say, you can also reference like this, right? That, okay, my product should cater. In fact, you would have arrived at this based on, you would have some better features than competitors' product. Right?
Correct.
You might have done this already.
Yeah, it's already done. Correct. To improve that, we can take that
Yes.
also.
But Pankaj, the question says that marketing has not been able to find any volunteer. Now you are saying that there
Test user,
are
right?
older
Test users.
relatives.
Yeah. So see, the question is that agile team is building a version of a smartphone shopping applicable suitable for older people, right? Now, first of all, this is meant for older people, right? And you're building a version, right? Marketing has not been able to find any volunteer test users fitting the profile, right? So
Yes.
within the company, they may not have been able to find. Now, which
But
option? Yeah.
whether within the company or outside the company, if you say that there are older relatives who are ready to act as test users, it means there are test users.
Yeah.
But the question says that marketing has not been able to find any volunteer.
Yes, I see. Sometimes what happen is you are trying to search older people within the organization or anybody else within or outside. Now, sometimes you have to guide people that okay, if call any of your relatives here who are old, we'll have their feedback, right? For example, see, if I buy a new cell phone for my mother, right? The choice for my mother would see, very other aspects. For example, easy usability. The keypad should be slightly bigger, right? So again, the choice will be select. So, every person who is 70 plus, right, or 75, they will have a different choice for a mobile phone.
So understood, Pankaj. But the problem is that here the question says that they are not able to find a volunteer test users. So whether within the organization or outside the organization, if you are saying that there are relatives who can test
So
the results.
you can call relatives of people, right? You can call. See, this is, I'll tell you, this is the situation, right? This is the situation, and these are the possible things that you can do. Which is the best possible? Now, see,
No,
you can treat this question as this is the scenario, and you can treat options as constraints, right? We can do only these possible things: A, B, C, or D. Which is the best possible outcome?
yeah, option D is the best, but option D directly negates the statement what is given in the question. It says that there are not volunteer test users. But when you find the test users in your relatives, it means there are.
नहीं but बहुत बार देखो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ऐसा होता है कि नहीं होता कि मेरे पास मार्केटिंग का बंदा आया ऐसे ही बोला कि यार कोई अब कौन टेस्ट करेगा इसको कोई मिल नहीं रहा है मैं बोल रहा हूँ यार एटलीस्ट कॉल अरे क्या ढूंढ रहे हो किसी को कंपनी के अंदर या बाहर आप सीधे जितने भी लोग हैं उनके रिलेटिव्स हैं जो सीनियर रिलेटिव्स हैं उनको इनविटेशन भेज दो बहुत सी दिस इज अ इंस्टेंस दैट मार्केटिंग हैज नॉट बीन एबल टू फाइंड मार्केटिंग देख ही नहीं रहा होगा उस एस्पेक्ट से डज इट हैपन और नॉट
इसका मतलब कि दे आर इनफॉर्मल टेस्ट यूजर्स वी कैन से
then
ओके
$197. A customer contemplates adding a new feature to a project deliverable, right? A customer contemplates adding new feature to a project deliverable. Which mandatory step must a project manager take before a project team member can start working on these features?
Option A, verify requirements.
Okay. Now, but who will verify the requirement? The verify requirement is, so should be verify or approval?
B, it's B.
B is a better form. You're right, it should be verified first, right? Before you start working on it. But ensure the approval from responsible individual identified in the project management plan, right? They have used the word project management plan, but more precisely, it would be what? Requirements management plan, right? And requirements management plan is ultimately in the project management plan, right? Is that okay?
No, but here only just one customer is saying this thing. So whether the customer's input is really a true input, it has to be verified first. Then we should go for the bureaucratic process of approval and all that.
Yeah. So how it should be verified? The process is defined in the requirements management plan, right? Just like I showed you a scope management plan, there is a requirement management plan also, right? Can I show you a requirement management plan first of all?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Right?
Please.
Let me show you a requirement management plan. Yeah, these are the contents of the requirement management plan, right? Now, again, these are some of the key elements, but not complete elements, right? That's why it is written components of requirement management plan can include but are not limited to. There can be additional also. How requirements activities will be planned, tracked and reported, right? How changes to the requirements will be managed, right? In fact, including who will approve and how the requirements are approved. How the changes are approved is also there in this plan. Requirement prioritization process, right? The product metrics that will be used and the rationale for using them, the structure of the traceability matrix, right? All of these things are defined in requirements management plan. Now tell me how the changes to the requirement will be done and how they're approved. This is also defined in this plan. If you look at this paragraph.
But this point is not is actually the context of the question. What I feel.
So let's go back to the question now. Yeah, let's go back to the question. The question is, a customer contemplates adding a new feature to a project delivery, right? Suppose a new requirement has to be, customer is suggesting adding a new requirements, right? New feature to the project delivery. Which mandatory step must a project manager take before the project team member can start working? So tell me, should this feature go through the approval process or not?
But
no,
before
Pankaj,
that, requirements should be verified, right? Because
Say that again?
without verifying requirements, how you go for approval? First of all, you need to verify.
Exactly.
You
So
can't
a customer
directly. Yes, sir.
Yes. So a customer completes. A customer is completing something. So you are taking as per the contemplation of the customer. You are not verifying the requirement and going for the approval process. So that should not be the way, I guess.
Correct. I agree.
Now, see, verifying the requirement is more to do with the completeness of the way requirement has been stated, right?
But for
Yes.
See, I'll tell you what. Verify requirement. Yes, there's a step when you do a typical business analysis. The purpose of verify requirement is to actually verify whether requirements are properly described or not, right? Now, look at this question. What is the question? The question is, which mandatory step must a project manager take before the project team can start working?
Yes. So they are
before-
starting the project. They would be starting to work on that project. So at that time, they'll not go. They are not going to verify the requirements. They
Just
should have
before
done it. Yes.
just before the execution, what is the preceding step? This is what they're asking. See, verify. Obviously, the first thing, if customer gives me a new feature, first thing I'll check is, okay, whether the feature has been described or elaborated in a proper format as our requirement format is, right? So I'll verify this. Then what should be the next process? The next process is I should get approval from the concerned person defined in the requirements management plan, which is a part of project management plan, right? Should this be the second step or not? This is the first step. This is the second step, right? Yes or no? Right? Now, in the question, are they asking about the first step or the second step?
Yeah, actually, it's asking for mandatory, like without approval, they can't do so. Yeah.
Right? So they're asking about the second step, right? Just before that, right? Which mandatory step must a project manager take before a project team can start executing, right? So yes, you are absolutely right, because in business analysis, if you say this verify requirement is also important and mandatory step. But again, they are not asking about any mandatory step. They're asking about just before execution. Before execution, B should have happened, right? Is that okay? Now, the next one. A client's employee asked the project manager for an additional new product feature during a status meeting. To which document should the project manager first refer to determine who has the authority to approve this request, right? So this is about the rules of the game for changes. The document should be change management plan, right? Change management plan is a document that defines how the change should be elaborated, how it should be reviewed, and how it should be approved, right? Now, many times, change management plan is a part of scope management plan also. Sometimes you can have a separate change management plan document, right? So this answer should be B, bravo. Now, 199th. A project is 50% completed. An essential project team member requests 2 months leave from the personal matter, right? What should the project manager do first? Answer carefully. So what is the first thing? Absolutely. First, at least see the impact before you come out with any action, right? So should be option.
Yeah.
Should the first thing to be done is option C, Charlie?
Right.
Right. The first thing should be option C, Charlie. Now, the last question for today, question number 200. This is the last question we are going to do. Right. This is the question, right? Sorry. A project sponsor asks the project manager to change production material because these materials could cause health problem to the consumer, right? Which step should the project manager take?
Charlie.
Bravo.
I think A is should be the answer.
Option A.
A.
Yeah,
Actually,
option
A
A.
is a complete answer,
A.
right?
Yeah.
Because this is, this is something unethical also, right? Right? They have specified clearly a project sponsor asked the project manager to change production material because this material could have caused health problems, right?
Yeah.
So, it requires, complete assessment,
Investigation.
the perform integrated change control process and thoroughly investigate the matter, right?
But what is the project manager expected to investigate here?
No, see, project manager has to ensure that this investigation has to be done in proper way. For example, how this change will impact, the overall project, right? How the change can, but again, will there be any benefit of this change, right? How the change can impact the quality, the timelines, the cost, it has to be, it might be possible that, because of this change, the project might become even unviable, right? So the change has to be thoroughly investigated because it is directly related to the health problem of the consumer, right? See,
Yeah, but
why
I think it's changed.
why B is wrong? Because immediately implement the change and submit, because you see,
Yeah, that is
analysis has to be done. So we will reject B, right?
Right.
And the correct work, again, see, it's a change and change in the production material. So should the feasibility be checked or not? See, you can't do C straight away, right? You have to see the viability of the change. You can't do D because, if something is bad for health, then it should be removed. So change has to be definitely done, right? This change is required. It's a mandatory kind of a change, but but before that, you have to analyze it completely. See, it's a serious thing related to health.
Yeah, but the change, but the project manager is not supposed to investigate whatever the issue is, right?
No, he will not do it himself, right? He will get it investigated through the whole team. See, when you create how the whole integrated change control works. First is a change request is created. Now a change request document, within change request document, you do a complete impact assessment, right? How the change will impact the quality, the other requirement, the timeline, the cost, and the various other aspects, the business case also, right?
Right.
You create a detailed change request, right? That will happen through thorough investigation. This change request goes to the change control board. The change control board will review and assess the change. Now, based on their review and assessment, they will either approve or reject it. If they reject the change, right, change is rejected. If they approve, it will be approved, right?
Right. Okay.
So, project manager will not do it himself. He'll get it done. But in this context, option, because it's something related to health, right? Bravo, Charlie, Delta are ruled out. A alpha is the correct answer. Right, guys?
Agree.
So that's all we have for today's session. We'll catch up next week with more clone questions, right? Saturday and Sunday, same time, right?
Okay, Pandit.
And for some of the people, we are meeting on Monday morning, 5 a.m., right? With risk management.
So risk management have been done in our batch, Pankaj, earlier?
Remember, we did Monte Carlo risk response
Yes.
scenarios, right? So, but again, if you want to repeat, you can join 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Right?